The Roaring Twenties were an extremely prosperous time in America. After the First War, society was prospering and improving at a rapid rate. A major takeaway from this time period was the Great Consumer Revolution. Many different products were being invented during this time, and very quickly. All of this, advertised everywhere a person could see. Henry Ford has created the automobile. The American people have lots of disposable money to spend, and much more is happening in the United States. Welcome to the advertising in the 1920s.
What is advertising? Advertising is where a company pays a magazine or radio station to broadcast or display their product. One of the main parts of advertising was the catchphrases, or slogans meant to hook the readers and listeners into having intrigue for their products. And visual features, such as a Gillette safety razor ad having a baby to represent its safety. These techniques proved to be very effective and caused radio stations' main source of income to be from advertisers paying for advertising time slots. In fact, the advertising industry was almost as big as the manufactured good industries. This easily shows how important advertising was in a 1920s landscape.
Begin early. Shave yourself.
Soon, advertising agencies started forming, and advertisements became a new way to push products to the people reading newspapers and magazines. As America became more industrialized, the increased profit companies made from their cheap products were put towards a massive increase in advertising that increased profits further. By the 1920s, advertisers began to realize that they could use ads to appeal to people's natures, likes, and senses, which led to the increased success of advertising in the 1920s.
In the 1920s, the average person had lots of money to spend. Most people had 5-day work weeks now, unlike how it was before that, where people would have to work up to 6 or 7 days a week. These people had the time and money to do stuff and spend money on things. They could go see a baseball game, buy a radio and listen to it, or even buy a car. How did these people buy all these items? They used the new credit system. With credit, many Americans had the ability to purchase items that they normally wouldn't be able to. Credit is a system that let people borrow money from the bank to buy things. As with borrowing, though, you have to give it back, and the banks did give a little bit of an interest. As with borrowing, the banks also had to make a little money on the side, so you had to pay a little bit of interest. Many people took major advantage of this system and used it to buy a lot of new products. One of those being the automobile. Many people could now actually afford a car with this new credit system. The car would be an extremely important piece of technology moving forward in America. The automobile used to be a piece of technology that only the rich would be able to buy. However, with credit, many Americans could slowly afford a car now. There are many other factors, however, that help this. One is the invention of the assembly line. The assembly line allowed many products, such as the car, to be manufactured extremely quickly. Henry Ford also created the assembly line, issuing America into a prosperous time. With the assembly line, made another reason for the average American to be able to afford an automobile, with its fast and quick manufacture time. The price of cars would become much cheaper, meaning much more affordable for any average American. Advertising also played a huge part in this. The automobile would sell much better with the advertising, as they would advertise it at a very low cost. Many automobiles would be heavily advertised on the radio as well, with low prices that anyone could afford. Hello, America's most famous dessert.
Yes, Jell-O, please. All 7 flavors. The Americans, with their excess spending money, would now be looking for new leisure products to buy as well. Many new products would be advertised because of this. Multiple new products made huge impacts to Americans. The radio was a very important piece of technology. Radio allowed for some of the first leisure activities. People could sit around the radio and listen to their favorite tunes for hours. No work required. Another product was the electric razor. Many products such as the electric razor made daily tasks much easier. The electric razor was one of those inventions. More were created, such as the refrigerator, making food storage easier, and the toaster, allowing the cooking of bread. Many new inventions like these would be advertised, giving consumers the idea that they need to go get these products. Or they get the feeling that these are essential products. These new products are reasons why the consumer revolution was so popular too. It's all because of advertising.
Guaranteed to give you the hair you want in half the time. Beauty Locks is delicate and dainty, just like you. It's smaller, it's faster, and it's guaranteed to give you the hair you want in half the time. Get now at your nearest Macy's. That was a message from our sponsors.
Different types of media usually indicate an effect on the economy and advertising as a whole. Movies were a major success back then. Many people enjoyed the new movie industry, and mass media usually promoted things such as this a lot through the movies. Newspapers and magazines were also quite popular. Many products would be advertised through these small little books. When people saw these, they usually would have the thought of buying the new product. The radio was also a popular type that was advertised, as we'll talk about later. Radio advertising emerged in the early 20s with the invention of the radio. In 1922, American Telephone and Telegraph Companies established WEAF, as under it, people who wanted to broadcast something had to pay to do so. The new form of advertising took off in a year, and the WEAF had 25 advertisers, including the RH Macy's Department Store, Greeting Card Association, American Hard Rubber Company, Bedford, YMCA, National Surety Company, and the Metropolitan Insurance Company. Soon, advertising became the primary source of income for radio stations, as these systems would spread to many people, especially with how many Americans were buying these new radios throughout the United States. The light in every home.
Modern advertising began with the invention of the newspaper in the 16th and 17th centuries. However, the form of advertising that was seen in the 20s really began to take shape in the mid-19th century, when newspapers and magazines used paid advertisements to lower their costs for the readers. Soon, advertising agencies started forming advertisements. Good to the last drop.
In the 1920s, celebrities were becoming important figures in America. With the increase in money for most Americans, the arts could finally become popular, allowing many to pursue different types of entertainment. Many different celebrities would start to get endorsements from different companies. These endorsements would have the celebrity give a promotion to whatever product they're requested to. Tobacco companies were very notorious for hiring many different people of popularity to endorse their products. These celebrities would go on and do radio advertisements, newspaper advertisements, film advertisements, and many more. The advertising that was given from celebrities usually worked extremely well, as many people looked up to these celebrities as their heroes sometimes.
Many advertising tactics, such as radio advertising, would be very important was of advertising in the future. In the present day, radios still have ads. How consumers shop started with the increase in money, and it would last into the present day. Many people in America still have disposable cash to buy products. Entertainment has also been just as popular for people to spend their money on. The 1920s overall had an important impact on America.